130% tariffs on newly imported Chinese goods, expanded export controls on rare earth elements, the stock market taking a dip Friday, and silver and gold climbing to an all-time high. We are in some really weird times, and we're going to be breaking that down in today's video, discussing on ways you can prepare for some upcoming, potential anyways, economic turmoil. A lot of savings rates are at an all-time low, credit card debt seems to be at an all-time high, and delinquencies on loans and cars are on the rise, so everything is kind of up in the air right now. We're going to be discussing a lot of ways to prepare for that, as well as discussing some deals and opportunities that you can snag now that may not be available in the next coming weeks or months because of the newly, potential anyways, of 130% tariffs. Let's start with that. Now, on October 9th of this year, China announced expanded export controls on rare earth minerals, covering 12 of the 17 key rare earth minerals. And that just sent shockwaves kind of throughout the whole economic system across the world. This not only affects the U.S., but it does affect the entire world because of a lot of different things going on with those rare earth minerals. Now, I'm not going to get too far into the weeds, but as a retaliation, the T-Man himself, Donald Trump, announced on October 10th, the day after, that the U.S. would impose an additional 100% tariff on all Chinese imports starting November 1st or potentially sooner if China starts to escalate again. Now, I've already talked about tariffs in the future, and we kind of had an agreement settled between the U.S. and China, and we were supposed to either solidify or slightly modify that agreement on November 1st because these guys were going to be meeting at an economic forum to discuss kind of a solidified trade agreement. Now, before that, it seems like China is trying to push their hand and really hitting the world hard with those export controls on rare earth minerals, and these guys truly dominate the rare earth minerals market. So with that retaliation, we could potentially be seeing 100% tariffs coming November 1st. And I've already been discussing with companies over the weekend and prior about Black Friday deals. And now some of those Black Friday deals could potentially be on hold depending on what happens. Now, a lot of companies already have inventory in stock, but if the 100% tariffs stick, there's no way these companies can afford to dramatically slash prices for Black Friday and then come back and restock inventory at twice or even 3 times the price that they just sold for. So we are in some weird, interesting times. Now, a lot of guys sold a ton of items way cheaper than what they would have normally sold them if they knew tariffs were coming during Prime Days, and some of those deals and post-Prime Day deals are still active on Chinese imported goods. So let's start off with some of the short-term things that you may want to prepare for that's not necessarily essential to your financial future, but essential to a good holiday season when you want to buy some gifts for people and not completely break the bank. There is a lot of deals going on right now, and to help you out on a lot of those deals, like maybe some Chinese-made flashlights like ThruNite, Woobin, Olight, and things like that, I'll be compiling filters in place in the description of this video on Amazon to the best deals possible. There's also a lot of watch deals going on right now on things like the more affordable Casios that are made in China. Now, some of the more premium G-Shocks are made in Japan, but some of the more affordable Casios that I've been showing that are generally $25 and under are made in China. Now, this Casio Illuminator packs a ton of specs and features and a really nice watch, and it's been known for its affordability. Now, just say Casio makes this watch for $8, and then they sell it for about $30 on a regular MSRP, but honestly, they've been putting them on sale. In fact, this Casio watch right now on Amazon is on sale for $18 with an additional clickable code to drop the price another $1.84, making this sub $17, which is insane, and a ton of color variations. Now, that is going to make a great sub $20 gift that you can hand over to somebody, and they're going to be pleasantly surprised at the quality of a Casio watch. And we reviewed these time and time again on the channel. Now, say Casio does pay $8 to make these, then they have to pay shipping to bring them over. Now they're going to have to pay 130% on top of that, which would be an extra $10 just in tariffs. Now, the company importing the Casio product will pay that, not the factory in China. So whatever company is going to pay to import this to sell to you, a U.S. citizen potentially, is going to pay that extra $10 on top. So now there's no possible way that they would have paid $8, maybe $2 or $3 in freight costs and listing fees to sell this for $17 and make a $5 or $6 profit per watch you were looking at now their cost to even just put this on Amazon of $20. So to break even to cover a lot of those expenses, they're going to have to charge now $30, $35, potentially $40 for a watch that would have cost about $17 to $18 on sale. And they are still on sale currently because these pricing hits haven't taken effect yet. And a lot of this inventory is already here. Now, I imagine as these sales deplete and as inventory goes away, especially across the board on Chinese imported items, you are going to see these price increases start to slowly tick up unless we come to an agreement fairly soon. Now, Donald Trump did say he was open to tariff negotiations, and this kind of came out of the blue. They were really hoping to solidify this deal down again November 1st, but China came in out of nowhere and declared that they were going to be putting those controls on rare earth minerals, which caused a global panic. Now, again, a lot of these deals, like the Addis Dive watch that I just featured on the channel, are still on sale for $48. And this ratio free diver, which is a Seiko Japanese automatic movement, the NH35, and this really nice built watch in China, though, will also be dramatically increased in price. Again, these are selling for around $100, but you would have to expect them to go up at least 50 to 60% in cost to cover those 130% on average tariffs. Now, I'm saying 130% tariffs. Some items may go up even more than that. A lot of tariffs on imported knives right now are generally sitting around 45%. You would see 100% tariff thrown on top of that 45%, making them 145% tariffs on a lot of your favorite high-value knives that I feature on the channel and many other channels feature on YouTube. So if you do see a deal, this may be a great time to grab it before a lot of those prices just kind of start to increase before Christmas when demand starts to spike. It seems early enough that my viewers can jump in and save a little bit of money. And there is a lot of really good deals right now on things like this MOSSY OAK fixed blade knife with D2 steel, G10 handles, and a Kydex sheath that generally should be worth way more than what they're selling it for. These generally sell for $25. I believe they're on sale for $22, and there's a 5% off clickable code, and these still are on sale as well. So if there was something you were looking at in the short term when it comes to affordable imported Chinese goods for Christmas time, this may be the week to do it if you can still find it on sale, and I will be linking a lot of those favorites in the description below. Now, coming full circle, what does this mean for a long-term economic outlook? I honestly think China would be willing to negotiate and the U.S. would be willing to negotiate, but I am no financial planner, and I really don't dig into the economy too much unless it starts to affect what I do on this channel. It seems like both sides are willing to negotiate, and I honestly think the American public can stomach not buying a second Chinese watch or a second Chinese pocket knife more than China can stomach not making them. I don't know how the Chinese government, though, would react to its population, kind of getting a little bit frustrated and angry that the factories are shutting down and they're sending workers home. They may not care as much as we do because they don't quite have the same government that we have. They're not really at the mercy of a lot of what our politicians are at the mercy to us when it comes to voting every 2 years. So we will see how this plays out. But long term, I think we will come to an agreement. But this does put a lot of turmoil into the market short term in buying and selling, especially around Christmas time. So long term, I'm not super concerned. I do think we could see kind of another trade war where tariffs are coming in and shortages on certain items as people run out of stock. I know currently I do engineering consulting for a company, and we actually were going to place an order today. It was going to be a pretty substantial order, maybe $60,000 to $70,000 order where we needed imported parts, and we didn't order it. We simply didn't order it. That company would have got $60,000 from us today, Chinese company, and they won't get that because we're just going to wait. We can't afford to pay that much. We've been trying to source U.S. vendors for that part for a very long time, and there's not a single U.S. vendor that will quote us on that component. So right now we are locked into China, but we're exploring Mexico and other opportunities, as well as every single U.S. vendor we can possibly go to. We started looking for U.S. They wouldn't sell it to us. We had to go overseas, unfortunately, and I wish we could bring back U.S. manufacturing, but that is another video. Going into silver, I just talked about silver hitting $50 an ounce, and it's almost $52 an ounce today. And I actually acquired a few more interesting MS70 coins to add to the collection today while I was shopping around. And I think silver right now is not necessarily one of those things that's going to dramatically drop in price. A lot of people are investing in silver and gold as a hedge against inflation as the dollar almost collapses in front of our eyes and loses value every day. And this is going to be a good opportunity to still kind of dollar cost average the market. Do I think silver has much more to go? I'm not 100% sure, but I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below about silver and gold. But every time I think silver and gold hits their peak, it keeps going higher, and I don't think it's a bubble. I think people are truly scared of what is going on in the world today with trade wars, global trade wars, encompassing the entire world over critical materials, political and economic turmoil, and the dollar just losing its buying power because we are printing more and more and going deeper into debt as a country. For me, I am personally, again, this is not financial advice, going to just acquire a few silver rounds every month and potentially 1 10th ounce gold coins every month to kind of dollar cost average the market, not necessarily to completely win it big on gold or silver, but to just hold value. I'm tired of my dollar buying so much less, and that's why this channel exists. I'm trying to find you guys the best deals possible so you guys don't have to waste your hard-earned money, and I hope you can find some deals in those links in the description below if you were looking to do some Christmas shopping before or if I don't want you guys to panic buy 130% tariffs go into effect. I honestly think these guys will resolve this sooner rather than later, but you never know. And there's already companies putting a pause on orders as of Friday to today that would have normally been here in time for Christmas that I imagine, unless they get this resolved this week, will not make it because those shipping windows kind of collapse on themselves. On top of that, with all of the companies, like the company I do engineering consulting for, putting a pause on this particular order and waiting until the tariff situation gets resolved, when we go place that order, you were looking at a backlog of orders being placed at the exact same time, and there won't be enough cargo containers. And we ran into this the last time tariffs took a dramatic price increase. We are finally importing some of the knives that are on the boat right now that we are hoping to avoid those 130% tariffs on. The world is interesting. I hope this channel helps, and I hope this gives you a ton of information that you can use to get the best deals possible without panicking and without completely breaking the bank. Love to hear your thoughts on the entire state of the economy, silver, and tariffs in the comment section below. Keep it civil. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.